it was down there, that they'd never seen anything like it, and that they were going to miss it if they didn't do it because it was time to go back to Arizona where the rivers are dry, they wouldn't do it. Why not? They were terrified. They were terrified. Do you know what's in the ocean, Dad? There's sharks down there. Right? There's stingrays down there. And not only that, but this isn't a pool. I feel like if I get off this wave runner, I could just sink to the bottom. And I know that this life jacket held me when I was on the, right on the beach, but for some reason it doesn't feel like it's going to work out here. Right? And we went home. They never got in the water. No matter how hard I tried to convince them, they would not get off the boat. And they missed it. They missed their chance. It's the same way with true life. It's the same way with the true life that Jesus Christ offers. Because just like my kids that thought life was perfectly good up here on the surface, that felt like they weren't really missing out on anything, because life was good anyway, they wouldn't do it. And that's the way we are with Jesus' call to deny ourselves, to take up our cross, and truly commit to following Him. Truly commit to saying, like He did in the Garden of Gethsemane, not my will, but yours. Just like those kids who didn't want to risk their physical life to see a whole new world, we hold on to our life here on this earth and doing things the way we want to do them and living life the way we want to live it. And it's just like Jesus says. We lose it. We suffer loss. There's a whole new world that we never find. There's a whole new way of living, a whole new life out there that we never even taste because we're too busy protecting ourselves. And Jesus says, no, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to show you the way. I'm going to lose my life, and I'm going to show you that it's actually the man who lays down his life, who loses his life, who says, not my will, but your will be done. This is the man that finds true life. This is the man who finds life as the way it's designed by his Creator. And no one else. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. And there's no other way to point the world to Christ than to follow Him as a true follower. Anything less is just like that children's song that I learned here at Lutheran Church of the Master decades ago. I don't want to say how many, but it was a few. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. What does it say? Hide it under a bushel? No. Hide it under a bushel? No. I'm going to let it shine. And Jesus says, He wraps this up, His fourth four is, for whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, whoever hides my words, whoever hides my salvation under a basket, of him will the Son of Man also be ashamed when He comes in the glory of His Father with the holy angels. Did I tell you earlier that you have a loving and compassionate God? I did. And I want you to know that. Just like you earlier thought that when I perhaps thought, I don't want to assume, perhaps thought that when I said, "Do you know where you're going?" that I meant heaven or hell. A lot of times we read this passage, this verse, and we think Jesus is saying, whoever's ashamed of me in this world is going to hell. Sorry, hell. Hell's been over here. But that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that when I come in my glory, the glory of the Father, with my holy angels, every man will stand before me. Followers of Christ will stand before me. And it says, Paul says, that each one will give an account of himself before God, and Jesus Christ will reward men and women for the things that they have done in the body. And that's what Jesus is talking about here. It's not heaven or hell. When he says that if we're ashamed of him in this life, if we hide that light under a bushel in this life, that he too will be ashamed of us, it means that when we stand before Jesus Christ, we're going to go, "Oh no, I missed it." Just like those kids on the wave runner. I missed it, didn't I? Ugh. Why? Why couldn't I just let go? Why? I blew it. And Jesus is going to know the same thing. He tells us this all over the New Testament. Parable of the talents, right? He comes back. The guys that invested it and did well, welcome. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the glory of your master. But to the one who hid his, to the one who buried it and did nothing with it, he's ashamed. We don't need to be ashamed. We don't need to be ashamed because Jesus has gone before us. He's paved the way for us. And he tells us that if we're willing to get off the my way highway and to follow his way, not to worry. Because he will do the work. He has paved the way. It's not a thing that you do by yourself. When you make the decision to get off the my way highway, Jesus Christ empowers you to carry out his will. You know, about 4 o'clock this morning, God wanted to make sure I knew that this message was a message that was to be delivered in humility. That this was not to be a proud message, but a message that reflected the compassion and the love of Jesus Christ. Do you know how I know that? Because I slept all of about an hour last night. And if you know me, you would know that my brain is so twisted when I don't get sleep that I can hardly even function and think right. And so all night long, God was saying, you are going to be exhausted. And you know what that means? You're going to have to trust totally in me. Because you know what? You're getting up in front of a bunch of people that have known you for years. Some of whom only came here this morning to this campus because you were coming. And what are you going to do? The answer was obvious. Trust in you, Lord. Trust in you. Why do I trust in you? Because you've never let me down. Not once. When it is, as he says, for his sake and for the gospel, Jesus Christ has never failed to come through. No matter how much sleep, no matter how little sleep, no matter how nervous I am before I come up, wherever it is, whatever it is I'm doing, not just preaching, he has never, ever failed to come through for his sake and for the gospel's. Not once. And as you lay down your life, as you get off the my way highway and follow his way, year after year, you'll learn that he never fails. He never fails to accomplish the purposes that he sets forth.